You're just running what if, what if,
Yes.
what if, what if, what if, what if.
Yes.
And the Lord spoke to me. He's so gracious. He said, he's not just your son, he's mine.
The beauty of being overwhelmed is that we serve a God who's not.
It's like times you just have to say, Lord, carry me and hold me. One of the things that I love, though, about my son is I can read him like a book. Like, even when he was really little, if I was picking him up in carpool, you know, I could tell the minute he was coming out if he'd had a good day or if he'd had a hard day or, you know, what was going on. So 3 nights ago, Barry and I are in bed. It's not late. It's maybe like 9 o'clock. And see, Christian wants to FaceTime. And we kind of do that almost, you know, most days. But the minute he came on, and I don't know if it's just because I'm the mom, but I knew something was wrong. And I said to him, hey, babe, are you okay? And he said, I'm okay now. And I was like, okay, what happened? And he told us that he had been going into a store and these 4 guys pulled up in a car and they got out with a crowbar and they smashed his windows and grabbed his backpack, you know, which has, you know, all his stuff that he needs, his notes, his iPad, his everything. And I'm listening, and he's like, and then these 2 guys came out of a store running, and they both had guns, and they were going to try and get them. But then, you know, the guys had driven off, and I'm like listening to all of this, and I'm like,
Sheila.
and then he shows me the car, and I mean, it's just like glass everywhere and stuff. And I'm like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm just a little bit shaken.
Yeah.
And he's 20, he'll be 28 soon. But it just made me realize that they never stop just being your child, that you're just like, because I said to him, you know what, babe, I don't think you should be on your own tonight. Do you want to come over here? And he's like, no, Mom, I think I'm good. I think I'll be fine. And I'm like, do you want one of us to come over? And he's like, no, I'm going to go home. And he's got these 2 cats, which he adores. And he's like, I'll be good. But I said, okay, go home. And if you need to cry for a bit, you know, let yourself cry for a bit. Because I said, because that's what I'm going to do now.
I'm giving you permission to do what I'm going to do.
But, you know, we prayed and he got off the phone. And it was just like, it was one of those moments where I think, you know, you just see all the things it could have been. You know, I mean, it was bad, but it could have been so much worse. And it made me think about those moments in life when things don't go the way you want for your kids. Like from the minute he was born, we had joked earlier on about, I don't remember what day we did it, about laundry, about somebody saying that they prayed. But I've done that with Christian since he was little.
I love that.
When I would put his socks together, I would pray for the, you know, peace.
Oh my gosh.
Beautiful.
When I would fold his little shirts, you know, I'd pray for the breast.
Brilliant. This is
But,
brilliant.
you know, the breastplate of righteousness. And I've always done that. And we pray for our kids. And when he was little, I mean, when he got his driving license for the first time and he would be driving to school by himself for the very first time, I was up at 6 o'clock and I was down anointing his tires. You know, just, I mean, seriously.
That's beautiful.
That's beautiful. No, I just wanted God to protect him.
That's right.
I wanted God's protection over him.
The significance of a mother's prayer is everything. But I think it's for the mother to realize that it's everything and to realize the importance, to realize the significance that it is so powerful. I love, I believe Sheila was talking about doing laundry and praying over her son, and when she's folding his socks, praying the peace over his feet and all of these things. And that was actually very encouraging for me. But I believe that what we can't see is more important than what we can see. So the things that are happening in the spiritual world around us is so much more real than what we can see with our naked eye. And as we as mothers take the charge, take the responsibility to pray for our children, to lay our hands on them, to walk in their room at night and to pray over them, even to pray over them with them listening, speaking prayers of life and hope and love and peace and strength, praying for God's favor on them, praying for God's wisdom in them, praying that they would know him and love him and live for him all their days. It makes a difference.
I had an experience when Conley was, I guess he was maybe like 1.5 or 2. We were at a friend's house and it was like a picnic or something in the fall, and there was tons of people there. We were all in the backyard, but they lived on not a busy road, but a road that people would drive really fast on. It was a neighborhood road, and their house sat way back, so it was quite a big yard before the street. But Matt and I were very intentional, like, you got him, who's got who, right?
Yeah,
like you're always just like,
totally.
who's in charge of who.
Yeah.
And so he said to me, you got him. And I said, I got him. And I got to talking. And it occurred to me after several minutes of talking, I didn't know where he was. All the kids were playing in the back, whatever. I didn't know where he was. And Conley has a tendency, especially back then when he was really little, he would dart off. And so I start looking everywhere for him, and I just run towards the front. And I'm going to tear up as I say it. Matt caught him right before he got to the road, and a car flew by.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
And y'all, when I say I cried all day, because you're just running, what if.
Yes.
And the Lord spoke to me. He's so gracious. He said, he's not just your son, he's mine.
Yeah.
And the thing that I feel such comfort as a mom, when they tell you, you know, having kids is like having your heart walk around outside your body. The thing I take comfort in is the Lord is not just parenting me and parenting them from the world and bad people and the dangers of the world that we live in. He's even parenting them in my own mistakes, myself as a human that's flawed, that just makes mistakes, where I just mess up. Yeah. And it's just this reminder that we don't have to carry the burden ourselves, that the Lord is covering us with the shadow of his wings. He is a father to us, and he is a father to our children. Yes. And it gave me such comfort that day. And then on other days when, you know, if I get a phone call or something that is, you know, we've had similar situations where it's like there's a lockdown and you don't know what's going on. And I literally go back to that moment from 6 years ago and go, they're yours too. Yeah. Like I will tell him, they're yours too. Yeah. They're yours too. Like, please watch out for them, because we're still, even on our best day, when we're on top of everything, we're still human. Yeah. And we make mistakes and we mess up. And it would be so easy to get in a shame cycle or spiral of beating ourselves up or running what if scenarios. And the enemy would love that. He would love to beat us up and kick us while we're down. But I just, it's the idea of the Lord fills the gaps. And they're his too.
That night, after we got off the phone, it brought back this memory of when Christian was little. We were traveling through Chicago airport one night, and it was really late. And he was marching on with his little Thomas the Tank Engine backpack. And then all of a sudden he stopped and he didn't say anything. He just lifted up his hands. And I knew that he was just saying, Mom, I'm tired. So I just picked him up and I held him close. And that night when I got off the call with him, we have a little balcony in our townhouse. And I just went out on the balcony and I just did it like this. And it was just like the sense of, you know, just the way that he wanted me to carry him when he was too tired. It's like times you just have to say, Lord, that's beautiful. Carry me and hold me. And there's just nothing like those moments where you think how things could have gone that makes you realize the bigger picture. This is not it. You know, we love our lives and we want to serve God with our lives, but we're eternal people. Right. You know, we're just passing through here. And I think of moms who've maybe lost children. And I mean, Jennie, you've walked through the unthinkable. I can't even go there. But to know that we serve a God who is on the throne, who is good, who is kind, who is loving, who knows the end. And it's like, if it's not good yet, it's not finished.
Yes. I think of that psalm that says, when my heart is overwhelmed, lead
Psalm
me to
61.
the rock that is higher than I. And what a beautiful picture that is. Like, God, this is going to take me out. Like, I'm overwhelmed, but lead me to the rock that is higher than I.
Hey you, we're so glad you joined us today. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. We don't want you to miss uploads from Better Together. And leave us a comment below. We want to know what's on your heart. Now, let's go back to the conversation. I was 5 when my dad committed suicide, and we never got to see his body because in Scotland you just didn't then. And you didn't go to a funeral or to a gravesite if you were a child. So I wasn't sure he was dead. So that's why I would have nightmares and I'd walk in my sleep. And in the morning, my sister knew where to find me. I'd be in the toy cupboard and I would have pulled all these soft toys over me. So as if he wasn't, he would come back and he wouldn't find me. But Christian was 5, exactly the same age when my father-in-law, William, died. And we were the only 2 home that night. And William had gone up to take a bath. And when he didn't come back down, Christian was in his jammies, ready to go to bed. And I said, hang on a minute, babe, I'm just going to go check on your papa. And I knocked on the bathroom door and William didn't answer. And eventually I opened it and he was lying on the floor. And I didn't know if he'd had a heart attack or if he'd slipped maybe. And so I covered him with a towel while I'm calling 911. And I hear Christian coming up the stairs. And I'm like, babe, just stay where you are. I'll be right down. And he didn't. So by the time I'm off the phone, he's standing right at the door and he said, Mom, what's going on? And I said, Papa doesn't feel well, but we're going to get some help. And he said, can I help? And I said, yes, you can help. I said, why don't you get a wash rag and put cold water on it and put it on your papa's forehead. And I said, do you remember that silly song that you and he sang? And I said, why don't you sing that? And so I have this picture in my mind of my son sitting there holding his grandfather's hand, singing this silly song. And it's like, was that the right thing? I don't know. Because after that, he said to me, that night when I'm holding my papa's hand, I prayed, God, don't take my papa. I want him. And God didn't answer my prayer. So I don't like God and I'm not going to speak to him anymore. And I was like, you know what? I totally get that. And there's going to be so many moments in your life, Christian, where you don't like God and you don't get it and you understand. And that's why, it's actually why we called him Christian. When we were trying to come up with a good name, we were in a bookstore and we're all looking at baby names. But then I found this children's edition of Pilgrim's Progress. And I found it the other night and I found what I wrote in it before he was born about, you know, this is why you're called Christian, because you're on a journey. And Dad and I will be there for some parts of it and not there for other parts. But just know that you're heading home.
Beautiful.
You know, and
Beautiful.
you know, we do the best we can, the best we know, and pray that God fills in all the rest.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, Lord. Oh God.
As we've been talking, the thing that keeps coming to my head is like, where do you run first?
Yeah.
And so even when we're overwhelmed, where do I go first?
Yeah.
Do I go to the Lord? Do I go to say, God, this is too much? Or is it like after I've tried all my things?
Oh, that's a good question.
Some of my talents and gifts and kind of maneuver it, and I'm like, no, now I really can't do it. You know, it's like that's what I'm hoping I show my kids.
That's right.
The first place you run is to the Lord.
Yeah.
The person who knows all the things that you're experiencing and going through. And yes, then you have me and Daddy to say, here's what I think the Lord's telling me.
Yeah.
Here's where I think, what do you think? Like, I want them to come to me, but ultimately I want them to go to God because I won't be there. In that moment in the school, I wasn't there for them to be like, Mommy, should we be scared? It's God, I'm scared. Please calm my heart.
Yeah.
So we were helping them to develop this conversation, this prayer life, to say, this is how I'm feeling. So it doesn't happen just before you go to bed or just before you eat. Like, this is this conversation that's happening. And one thing we've done in our house for probably the last 5 years is this prayer wall. It's a whole wall that's a big chalkboard. And we'll go and we write what we're praying for. And so what's awesome is to see like our 15-year-old's prayers, you know, then Benjamin and I's prayers, and then our 5-year-olds who just write their name. But
Pray for me.
yeah. But it's just like the idea is we go back and we say, has God said yes or no?
That's right.
And if it's a yes or a no, we erase it and we talk about it as a family. And it just gives us an opportunity for you to say, go to God first.
Yeah.
He will answer you.
Yeah.
He is answering, to your point. The littlest things, like I pray for my teacher who doesn't feel good, you know, and then she's like, she feels better. And like, she's erasing that. Like God answered that prayer. And so it's just a visual for our family as we come up the stairs to see the things, to say, this is where you go first. Then you have a family who's around you, who's also praying for these things because it's important to you, it's important to us.
Yeah.
And so I just think it's like all this whole conversation, are you coming to me first? Are you overwhelmed? Come to me first.
Yes.
Lay it on me, Kirsten. I'm like, are you sure you want all that? I said, yeah, I want it all. You know, and so that's the beauty. That's the beauty of the beauty of being overwhelmed is that we serve a God who's not.
Yes. Our whole community was built on prayer. Please let us know how we can pray with you and for you in the comments below. Well, if this encouraged you, there is more. Check out our other conversations for more stories of hope and transformation.